In the year 2154, humanity had reached an unprecedented level of technological advancement. The invention of neurosync, a device that could read and manipulate brain signals, had become ubiquitous. People wore it as a wristband or implanted it under their skin, allowing them to control their every thought and action with precision. The city of New Eden was the epitome of this technology, where every citizen's emotions were monitored and regulated by the government. The citizens lived in a state of numbness, their feelings carefully controlled to maintain social order. Aria, a 25-year-old neurosync user, had always felt like she was living in a dream world. She went about her days with precision, never deviating from the script. Her relationships were shallow and her work was monotonous. But on one fateful day, something changed. Aria's best friend, Maya, died in a tragic accident while working on a neurosync-related project. Aria was devastated, but instead of feeling the expected surge of emotions, she experienced nothing. It was as if her brain had been programmed to suppress even the slightest hint of grief. Days turned into weeks, and Aria struggled to cope with her loss. She could not shake off the feeling that something was missing in her life. One day, while walking through the city, she stumbled upon a small, quirky shop tucked away on a side street. The sign above the door read "Curios and Antiques." Aria's curiosity got the better of her, and she pushed open the door. Inside, she found a treasure trove of vintage items and strange artifacts. Among them was an old, leather-bound book with yellowed pages. As Aria flipped through its pages, she discovered it was filled with poetry and stories from a bygone era. She felt a sudden connection to the words on the page, as if they spoke directly to her soul. For the first time in her life, Aria felt a spark of emotions within herself. She realized that she had been living in a state of emotional numbness, suppressing even her own feelings. As Aria delved deeper into the book, she began to experience strange and vivid dreams. Her mind was flooded with colors and sensations, as if she was waking up from a long slumber. She felt the warmth of sunlight on her skin, the taste of fresh air, and the sound of birds chirping in the trees. The more Aria read and explored the shop, the more she realized that her neurosync had been manipulating her perceptions all along. It had created a world where emotions were suppressed, but at what cost? She felt like she was discovering herself for the first time, like a flower blooming in the cracks of concrete. Aria's journey took her to hidden corners of the city, where people still lived and breathed without the crutch of technology. She met artists, musicians, and writers who had chosen to reject the monotony of their lives. They welcomed her with open arms, sharing their stories and emotions freely. As Aria immersed herself in this new world, she began to rediscover her own feelings. Tears streamed down her face as she remembered Maya's smile, her laughter, and her warm touch. She felt a sense of joy that she had never experienced before, like a rainbow after a storm. But with each newfound emotion came a realization: the world was not ready for this kind of change. People were scared of their own feelings, and those who allowed themselves to experience emotions were ostracized. Aria knew she had to tread carefully, as her awakening could have far-reaching consequences. As she walked through the city streets once again, Aria felt like a stranger in her own skin. She saw the world with new eyes, a world where technology ruled supreme, but also a world of endless possibilities. She knew that she would never be able to go back to her old self, and she was both scared and excited for what the future held. The people around her looked at Aria differently now, some with curiosity, others with suspicion. But Aria did not care. She felt like she had finally found herself. She walked on into an unknown world of emotions, ready to face whatever came next.